Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Cook with A2M. Today we are going to make an amazing dessert, an amazing delicacy, which is chocolate cake. Come on, who doesn't love chocolate cake? It's going to be an easy and foolproof recipe that we all are gonna enjoy and we can easily make it. So without any further ado, let's get into the ingredients. And before the ingredients, let us look into the pan that we are going to use. Here I am using a 9-inch round pan, and now I'm going to line it with parchment paper at the bottom, and then I'm going to grease it with oil and flour. So here I have greased the pan and I have lined it with parchment. I'll keep it aside, and now let us look into the ingredients that we are going to require to make the chocolate cake. I am using 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. Make sure it's unsweetened. If you're using a sweetened cocoa powder or a sweetened version, make sure you add sugar according to it. Like if you're using 1 cup of sugar in unsweetened cocoa powder, make sure you're using half a cup of sugar or three-quarter cup of sugar. Here I'm using unsweetened, so I'll be using around 1 cup of sugar. Basically we are using 1:1 ratio, 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of sugar and half a cup of cocoa powder. I'm using a half a tablespoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder. I have mixed it together, and here I have half a cup of buttermilk, half a cup of oil, vegetable oil, and I'm using 1 large egg and 1 medium egg. Basically you can use 2 large egg, that doesn't matter, but here I'm using 1 large and 1 medium egg. And also I'm going to use half a cup of water. I have infused this water with tea, so just to give it a flavor, you can add coffee, you can add vanilla essence, whatever you want, whatever you like it. It doesn't have any rules. So now let us sift all the ingredients, all the dry ingredients properly, so that we don't find any lumps. I'll add all-purpose flour, and then I'll be adding cocoa powder, and then I'll adding the baking powder and the baking soda. The main reason why we are sifting is so that the all the components mix properly, and all baking soda and baking powder mix properly throughout the batter, throughout the mixture, so it's an even layer you're getting if you're doing so, if you're sifting and you're incorporating air into the batter. So it's a good way, like always sift your ingredients, dry ingredients. And the main reason which I've said, that cocoa powder have lots and lots of lumps, so if we do not sift, we tend to have lumps in our batter, in the final batter. So we sift it so that we don't have any lumps in it. And after sifting, I'll be adding the sugar, which is the last dry ingredient, and I'll give it a quick stir, like I will give it a gentle stir basically, so that all my components, dry components, are slightly mixed. After my dry components are mixed, I'll be adding all the wet ingredients. I'll be starting with the eggs. I'll break the eggs a little bit, and then I'll be adding the buttermilk. Now here, if you don't have buttermilk, don't worry, you can add regular milk, or you can add regular milk and add half a teaspoon of vinegar into it and let it side for some time. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly whisk it before adding the vegetable oil and the water, so that this gets properly incorporated into it. I'll be adding the vegetable oil now, and I'll be adding the water after I mix these 3 components properly, because what about water is basically we need to add water according to our flour that we are using. So if your flour requires more water, you can add water accordingly. For me, approximately it requires around half a cup of water to around 3/4 cup of water, depends on the flour which I'm using or the cocoa powder I'm using. So you just need to eyeball the consistency, and you just need to measure the consistency before you make it properly working out. As you can see, this is the perfect consistency that we are requiring, as like we need to make a ribbon kind of thing, which we can do it easily. After making this, we are going to pour this batter into the cake pan that we have already lined it with parchment and greased it. And here I have already preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 176 to 180 degrees centigrade. And I'll be pouring all the batter into the 9-inch round pan. I'll just give it a quick wiggle, and I'll just give it a quick tap so that the air bubbles that are trapped inside the batter comes out. And I'll be baking it for around 35 to 40 minutes, depending on your oven and your temperature, depending on the watts of the oven. You can check after 30 minutes or so. After this, I'll be removing it, and you can look at the end result. So this is the end result. I have cooled this cake completely. I've removed it from the pan. It was super easy. And as you can see, it is super jiggly and super soft. So here's your chocolate cake. You can serve it however you like. You can add whipped cream, you can do whatever you want. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.